Hi guys, it's ASBYT and this is the brand new HONOR MagicBook. I've been using it on and off for about a month or so, and this is my full review. Now, HONOR were kind enough to provide me with this review as unit and sponsor this video, but as you know on the channel, all opinions in this review are my own. So firstly, the HONOR MagicBook laptop comes in two sizes, the 14-inch, like I've got here, and the 15.6-inch model. Now, there's pros and cons to both, of course, but I think personally, the 14-inch is probably the best model for most people, but we'll get to why in a minute. The MagicBook comes in two different colours, silver, which is pretty slick, or this space grey, which is personally my favourite. I would matte space grey everything if I could. The space grey is also enhanced by this wonderful blue trim known as Azure Blue Chamfer. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I think this accent looks great on the edges, although I'm not as mad keen of it being on the HONOR logo. The build quality is very premium. With its aluminium chassis and 1.38 kilograms in weight, it certainly doesn't feel cheap, and it does all this while still maintaining its portability factor, and at just 15.9mm thick, it's easy for throwing into a backpack for work, class or travel. On the left as you look at the laptop, we have one USB Type-C port, which can be used for charging, one Type-A and an HDMI port, and on the right hand side we have another Type-A and a headphone jack. So overall there are a fair few useful ports, although I would have liked HONOR to have included possibly another Type-C port so that you can use that connection and charge it at the same time. And also, like with any laptop, I would like to see an SD card slot as well so that I can transfer my photos and videos from my DSLR. Underneath we have a rubber strip to provide grip on the desk, etc. And the bottom firing speakers, which are really pretty impressive. Even though I would prefer them to be up firing, they are really loud and they don't seem to distort even at that top end. In addition, we have air vents for the fans, which apparently have a 49% increase in blades, creating 38% higher heat dissipation and airflow. More on that later. If we lift the lid, we have a scissor switch backlit keyboard with not too much flex at all. The keys are certainly not mushy by any means, but equally there is enough travel, so it's a great halfway house between keeping the laptop nice and thin, but also being comfortable to use over long typing periods. Now, one really cool feature is the webcam. Watch this bit of sorcery. The camera pops up from one of the keys, which not only gives great protection for those concerned with privacy, but also means that top bezel can be very slim at just 4.8mm, as there's now no need for camera tech up there. There are of course a couple of downsides to this method. One is it's a moving part, so durability and longevity haven't really been tested. And also the fact the camera is down on the keyboard firing up at you, you get this pretty horrid angle of my 7 chins. In addition to the minimal top bezel, we have the same on the sides, but unfortunately the bottom bezel is slightly larger. Maybe on the next edition, HONOR can reduce that as well. Next to the keyboard, we have the power button, which also houses the fingerprint scanner, and it's fast and accurate, and the positioning is pretty perfect for me. The trackpad is not the greatest I've used. I am still trying to find one that feels quite as premium as the offerings from Apple on their MacBook ranges, but as far as Windows laptops go, it's certainly up there. To the right hand side of the trackpad, we have a brilliant feature called HONOR Magic Link 2.0. This allows you to connect your HONOR or Huawei smartphone with a simple tap and share your smartphone screen and files on the MagicBook 14 so that you can jump between the two devices. You can kind of see why HONOR have done this, trying to create that ecosystem of course. Now the IPS display has a resolution of 1920 by 1080 with a screen to body ratio of 84% and a 16:9 aspect ratio, so it's great for media consumption and gaming. More on this later. It could be brighter. I think the max is around 250 nits, but it is still usable outdoors in sunshine, something I did actually get to test this week in the garden with the current lockdown restrictions, of course. Stay home, stay safe. The fully laminated screen also reduces the reflection off the LCD panel, which is good for low light situations also. And for those of you out there that love certificates and ratings, etc., it's also TÜV Rheinland certified. Now interestingly, the hinge actually goes all the way back to 180 degrees, which while I would never use the laptop like this, it's nice to know you have that flexibility, pun intended, to push it back as far as you want without applying unnecessary stress to that hinge mechanic. It's also pretty firm with only minimal wobble after adjusting. Now unfortunately you can't open the laptop with one hand, which is not a deal breaker, but it's nice to have, and it also doesn't self-boot as soon as you open it. This means you have to press the power button, but boot up is rapid due to that ultra-fast PCIe NVMe SSD drive, which apparently has up to 5 times faster read speeds than a standard SATA SSD drive. Now, as we've started on what's under the actual hood, we may as well continue, starting with the fact we've got an AMD Ryzen 5 3500U mobile processor, which while it came out at the start of 2019, it replaced the 2500U, which came out in 2017, so it certainly should be current for a while yet. This processor is designed for ultra-thin light laptops, which fits the MagicBook perfectly. This combined with a Radeon Vega 8 graphics and 8GB of DDR4 dual-channel RAM means you can easily multitask, jumping back and forth between day-to-day tasks such as Word documents, spreadsheets and browsing the internet, and it does also come preloaded with Windows 10. Now you can also use the HONOR MagicBook for light gaming, although it certainly wouldn't give you the performance of a dedicated gaming laptop or PC. Big titles like PUBG etc. will leave you a little wanting with a few lags and dropped frames, but it is certainly usable in this department. The performance is also aided by the mentioned new fan design, which keeps temperatures pretty cool to the touch even when gaming, of course reducing that need to throttle. I'm also very impressed with the fan noise actually as well. Even when you are using it for heavy duty tasks, it still stays pretty quiet, which is always nice. So as long as gaming isn't your sole purpose in buying a new laptop, it can certainly do you pretty well for a spot of high adrenaline thrill seeking. Now another activity that is heavily taxing on a laptop system is of course photo and video editing. Now while I wouldn't personally use this for editing my videos, it doesn't mean it isn't capable for some of you. If you're looking to create some light photo and video projects, then this will be absolutely fine. But if you're looking to create professional video content with many layers, transitions and music in 4K resolution at 60 frames a second, etc., then there are of course better laptops out there. Those laptops will of course have a much higher price tag. And speaking of price, I believe this retails for roughly around 600 UK pounds, link in the video description. Editing and gaming will of course have drastic effects on battery life, but outside of that, for light tasks, you can get up to around 10 hours of use before the need to charge, which should cover you for just about anything. And if you do need to fill up a bit of juice on this bad boy, with the 65-watt fast charger that comes in the retail box, it can charge around 50% from dead in around 30 minutes, which is really stellar. And speaking of battery, that's probably the main reason why I would choose the 14-inch model over, believe it or not, the 15.6-inch model, because you get, weirdly, a 56 watt-hour battery inside the 14 and only a 42 watt-hour inside the 15.6-inch model. And that 42 watt-hour battery has to power a larger display. So you would think that the battery life would suffer more on the larger model, but of course I haven't tested them both together. So all things considered, the HONOR MagicBook 14 is very easy to recommend. It's not the best laptop that money can buy on the market, but it's probably, certainly in fact, one of the best all-round packages of a laptop right now, especially if we're looking at value for money. You are seriously getting so much for that £600 price tag. As I said, I will leave links to the HONOR MagicBook in the video description below if you indeed want to go through and get more information. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel and love everything tech, breaking tech news, unboxings, reviews. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Says ASBYT. Peace out.
Do just what you want. You're the one I trust.
And also, like with any laptop, I would like to see an SD card slot as well. So